Last weekend we had a fantastic time on the houseboats in Langebaan. This episode, it's a little bit different and we're heading away for a boys' weekend, and if I were you, I wouldn't even miss a minute. When I consider our history as a species, human beings have been nomadic scavenging beach bums and bush babies for far longer than we've lived in houses or had running water. If it squirted, squeaked or breathed, it invariably ended up being slapped on the coals and cooked in the great outdoors. And it's only in the last couple of 100 years or so that we've forgotten the knowledge that made us the most successful hunter-gatherers and gastronomic kings and queens on the planet. My name is Justin Bonello and welcome to Cooked. So we're on our way up the Breede River for our third episode to do a little bit of fly fishing with Mr. James Warren, Gareth Beaumont and Neil Bryant. It's a catch and release river, but I'm still going to cook up a little something along the way. Oh, that's about it, huh? I'll tell you more about the river when we get further down. And as you can see, we're walking up a bloody mountain. Sweaty, hot, I've got a wetsuit on underneath this. No one told me about that part of it. We cruise, brothers. And you could have said hello, eh? You could have said, hi, Ma, Neil.
Hi, Ma.
Gareth.
Come on, let's have you.
Mr. Warren. It's very serious. Oh, gosh. Now, if you really want to know what guys do on their weekends away, well, you're about to find out. Look, give me a little hit of brandy in there. I know you guys are already in there. Oh. There's a little bit of surface action in the head of that pool, so James is going to go in and work it upwards and see what he can get. So now we just wait with bated breath, and no pun intended. It's like watching poetry in motion, you know what I mean? Oh, look at him. Now that's wild trout. They weren't wild initially and were stocked in this river. And the Cape streams are some of the most challenging rivers to fish in the world. What you must know is that they're crystal clear, they're tiny, the fish have become weary to men. And that's a beautiful little rainbow trout. What's the scientific name, James? Thank God. Neil, do you want to jump in and have a shot, bro? Oh, I'm looking at Mr. Warm casting. I think I'll start practicing down there. You make it look so easy. Well done, Warnie. James, when I'm down there, he says, got your bag? So I realize, geez, I haven't got my bag, better go and fetch it. I pick up my bag. I get back here and I say, Evan, you've got to check this out. When James has been guiding on rivers so long, he knows people forget stuff and things. And then he left my rod there.
I didn't leave the rod, I did warn.
He did, no, I'll go fetch it, man. Castles in the sky. James quite kindly pointed out that we couldn't make any sort of fire up where we were this morning, so we've arranged with the Dutois Cliff Lodge that we can come and quick up a cooked breakfast that I was going to cook for the guys up there. And it's really straightforward, jaffles. And you just have to check them out, and then if we're lucky enough and have enough time, I'll make you a rooibos espresso. Yeah. These, by the way, are jaffles. And essentially it's an old-fashioned version of a snackwidge. Ever hear of that? So everything's really straightforward, and because I was going to do this for the guys up the top of the hill, I brought along some portable hiking stuff. Hey, you can give me a hand here, James. You've got to butter the outside of the bread, so if you can do slices buttered on the outside for me. Right, now rooibos is an indigenous tea that we get up in the Cedarberg down here, and there's no reason why you can't make an espresso out of it. And you can see that red, that's instead of ground coffee. So in about the same amount. It's quite strong as well. And now we're going to whack that straight on the gas. Wow. We're going to whack that straight on the gas. I can't believe it. You know how long I've had this one for? Oh man, I found it secondhand in a shop and everything. That's called throwing your cell phone away. The trick with the jaffle is once you've buttered your bread, you actually have to turn them onto each other like that. Now put some peanut butter on there. Right, and then a little bit of honey. Okay, that's not a little bit of honey, yeah. And then all you do is pick it up off the other slice. Oh, bread's great. Put him down like that and put the other one down, butter on top. And close him up. And then you just cut off these bits here so that they don't burn while you're cooking it. And that's that. Now you can see what's beginning to happen is the water's beginning to steam right through the rooibos, which is an indigenous bush, and as you see, it's got that beautiful coppery golden colour. In a couple of seconds it's going to start spitting, and then we're about ready for an espresso shot. And take a look at that fantastic colour, and that's definitely a double espresso. So Mr. Bryant, why don't you just put some sugar in there for me, 2 for me, and I don't know what the other guys want. No, 1 tablespoon. And I'm going to put these on the go.
Hey, old.
Oi, oi. What we really do when we go away, girls. Yes, what we really do. See, very civilized, huh? And you thought we were just drinking and anyone else? John? But just put some sugar in there, otherwise it's going to be ina. It's going to take a quick look and see how they're doing. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I just want to see if the other side's done as well. And look at that. The banana and the peanut butter's gone all gooey. Warnie, come have one of these. Gareth, it's very hot though, hey? We're going to head down to a place called High Africa, which is between Worcester and Villiersdorp. I don't know, about 60, 70 clicks down the way. We're going to have a little quick chicken with a twist for lunch, and then we're going to do some bass fishing on the river. So, next one's up, guys. Should we go? Its warm red glow will light the sky. Warm red glow will light the sky. With you I feel my life is wonderful. I feel so warm. Now the boys' weekend begins.
Me or Cedarberg?
What do you feel like drinking?
Anything, bro.
We were hoping to pay on card. That's how you make a movie in South Africa. You finance it on your credit card. Should we go? Let me live my life. Let me live my life. Let me live my life. Let me spend my time. So we've arrived, High Africa. Hello, Jane.
Welcome to High Africa.
Thank you.
Good to see you all.
Thank you for having us.
Pleasure. Hope it works out well for you.
So we've arrived at High Africa on the banks of the Breede River between Worcester and Villiersdorp. And basically, I want to get into the river and do a little bit of bass fishing. So I'm going to make a really quick lunch. It's, as the board says, a drunken bird with a twist in a sense. And it's straightforward. And all it involves is 2 chickens, some garlic, some black pepper, some salt, and some olive oil, and a beer. And then we're going to whack it onto the weaver on that side. Okay, so the first thing we really have to do is mung up some garlic to stuff inside the bird. And I'm going to do everything in the mortar and pestle. I don't need to cut it up for this. I just want the flavors infused into the bird. Garlic, a teaspoon or so of molten salt, some whole pepper, and just mash it all together. Nicely ground up. Add the parsley right at the end because the herbs are delicate, so you don't want to destroy their flavor. just lightly now. Some olive oil, and then we're just going to mix that up. Then, all we have to do is flavor the bird, inside and out. So you're going to take your mixture and rub it all over. And the theory behind what I'm about to do is that we're actually going to steam the bird. And the same to the other bird. Now obviously, what I've done is made sure there's no bits and pieces floating around inside here. So the gizzards and the giblets and all the bits and pieces have already been pulled out of this chicken. So, the drunken part, take your favorite tipple, open it, and then you insert same said bird over can, and it's going to be a tight fit. Then you want to close the top of the neck where your neck would have been and close that over like that. In fact, I think what I've got to do is use a piece of string just to tie that off, because it must steam inside when the beer heats up. And that goes like that. Standing upright and balance it. And just the same with the other one. And you can just pull that lip over as well. And then all that's left to do is chuck on the lid. So. And that's just 40 minutes, well, maybe 40 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going fishing. When I come back, these should be perfect. And you know what? I think you wish you were here.
Never knowing quite where we've been. One way to get there. One way to know her for sure.
While we were floating down the river, the rest of my team were testing their own personal boundaries. And although it was a little bit more extreme than our fly fishing, I think they were having just as much fun as we were.
You come gliding from
This is what the cameramen do on Cooked. The intrepid fox.
Do you really know where you're going?
Shit. Goat for going down river, shit for fishing. I don't even know where my fly is, bro.
Flowing easy to the ocean. I'll come breathing down on you.
So our quick little bass trip down the river took 3 hours instead of an hour and a half. Our chicken's probably, I hope, cooked, and I hope it's ready to eat now. And then we're going to go straight into the braai because we are starving, cold, wet, and in need of nutrition. So it's been a hard day on the river, and now we're all bloody hungry. In fact, I think the chicken's going to go down like a homesick mole. I'm going to give that to the guys after I quickly cook up some lamb chops, some chump chops, and some lamb loin chops with some millies, some potatoes, and some boerewors. Boerewors is, roughly translated, is farm sausage. So, I mean, really all we have to do is marinate the meat, make up the potatoes, and get straight into it. First part is to marinate everything. And I don't mind if it's got the skin on, just mung everything into a pestle. And this is really a traditional South African thing. We've been braaiing in the outdoors since the cows came home. Some olive oil, a little bit of salt, some black pepper, lemon juice, and that's a straight marinade. Give it a rough mix, and toss it all over your meat. And then just mix everything around so all those flavors are infused all over the chops. Right, then you've got to do potatoes. Guys only need protein and starch. And the same thing with these guys, just stab them so they're punctured. Sprinkling the salt, some olive oil, and into the tin foil. And then put them directly onto hot coals, shiny side in. Put these straight onto the fire as quickly as you can because they take the longest to cook. We've got a whole whack that are already on the go because the guys are starving. And that's how you make a potato. Would you believe it? What we were going to have for lunch? Well, they've just turned into dinner, but look at those babies. And they could be superb. Garth, come quarter these up for us. Chuck the chicken in there. guys. It's South African braai, our chicken, our drunken chicken. Straightforward chops and stuff, and you can see the guys are just tucking in straight away.
And spit him out again.
So we woke up early the next morning and headed out towards Grabo in the mountains on the outskirts of Cape Town to catch some trout for a late lunch. And for a change, and even on camera, I finally broke my jinx. And you know what I really love about traveling and the road less traveled? Is that everything is new and guaranteed to bring you happiness. Hello, Maria.
Well,
Thank you.
good to have you here.
And thank you for having us. I mean, we wouldn't be anywhere else.
Well, I hope it's going to just do it for you, and I hope that you really just enjoy yourselves. Take over and make yourselves at home.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I'll come to the kitchen with you.
So please tell me now, how do you try to justify why our children cry? Never gonna find peace.
Let's do it again.
I'm just glad it's not cold.
Maybe now we're ready to make lunch.
My pleasure, Justin.
I couldn't resist.
How do you try to justify why our children?
So we've arrived at the Button Quail Private Nature Reserve on the banks of the Palmet River. And really, this is a magnificent place. We're in the buffer zone between the Kogelberg biosphere behind us and the Elgin farming community over the hill. And it's really tranquil, beautiful place. I mean, you can see the river gurgling by behind us. Now, obviously, we're going to have something we caught in a couple of seconds, but our honeys have arrived, and now's the time we have to start eating vegetables. And I'm just going to do something straightforward. It's roasted vegetables. It's got some baby butternut in there, some marrows, some mixed patty pans, and some parboiled baby potatoes been cut in half. And all we're going to do is drizzle some olive oil over it, salt, garlic, black pepper, and that's it. Whack them into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for like anywhere between 30, 40 minutes to an hour. And then all that you've got to do is toss it. Garth, won't you chuck this in the oven, 40 minutes or so? The veggies on the go. Now I'm going to do the fish in two variations. One of them is quite interesting with brandy, honey, and pecan nuts, and the other one's horseradish, tomato, onions, and dill. So the first thing I have to do is crush up a whole whack of pecan nuts. Oh, they're screwing with me, because they know that's where I'd rather be. Then the next part involves honey, and that's about 4 tablespoons. I'm doing 2 trouts, stuffing 2 trouts, so I don't know, 200-300 grams of pecan nuts and about 4 tablespoons of honey, and then I'm going to put in about the same amount of brandy. No, I lie, about 2 tablespoons. And because I've added the brandy to this, it'll dissolve, the alcohol will dissolve into the honey, and you'll end up with a nicely pliable juice that you can add to this and then stuff into the trout. And then just mix this all together. Mr. Warren, you're going to come help me here a bit. Now, in the other 2 trout, we're just going to stuff tomato, onion, dill, and some horseradish, and then coat the outside with black pepper and olive oil. And this is just going to be stuffed into the cavity of the rainbow trout. I'm going to peek in it.
Okay.
You want me to do that? Because you
Yeah, just keep nice chunks of it. Take
what,
it,
like,
no,
just that section,
nice
like
big,
that? And Doll's got that semi-licoricey flavour. In case you don't know what we're doing here.
This is quite muddy.
What the horseradish tends to do is remove that sort of slightly muddy texture. I'm just going to stir that up. We've got a spoon anyway?
Garth, shortened spoons today, you know? You try and use stuff that you find in the place you're staying instead of travelling with a hollow.
A little bit more horseradish.
And you must understand, we've just come off a boys' weekend here, so, you know, we don't exactly have everything with us. That will help you, I am sure.
Done it now, we've got the...
All of that for nothing. Okay, so now all we got to do is stuff that in the trout, but I'm just going to oil it with olive oil, salt and black pepper on the outside, not on the inside. Why don't you pour the olive oil onto my hand for me there, James? Well, I want to do both sides. You know what I love about this as well? Is that just a couple of hours ago, these guys were just swimming around. I need a bit more on these two as well, James. Sprinkling of salt. Black pepper. Turn them. And then all you have to do is stuff them. So James, I'll hold him up and you can stuff him. And just stuff it in there. Because that's going to flavour the fish from the inside. And then just down like that. And then I just want to stuff the brandy, honey and pecan nut mixture inside. And trout and nuts go really well. Right, so now all that we've got to do is whack some tinfoil over this. That's because we're cooking on a gas oven, and I think we're going to have to help it along a little bit because they're a little bit notorious for being dodgy. Shiny side down. "25 minutes from now, we'll be eating late lunch on the lawn. We have kitchen elves helping us today. What's your name?
No, me.
No, come on, tell us your name. And yours?
Alaska.
Aliska and?
Shirley.
Shirley. Aangename kennis, my naam is Justin. Lekker om julle te ontmoet. That's so cool, because you can come here and just chill out, you know? And you have these fantastic girls just helping you along.
Make apologetic bow. Some chick called Lauren.
What are you smiling for? You hungry or something, man?
In this state of confusion,
In this state of confusion.
Cheers. And to the Breede River. Late lunch.
It's never going to end.
And that's what food's really about, is bringing people together in a place like this. It's the catalyst for good times. So what we've arranged is to come down to the Dutois Cliff.
You just walk in and do it again.
Okay, ready? So we couldn't make a fire up in the This is, you know what, this is making us all look quite gay, huh?
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about this afternoon.
Hey,
Yeah, oi.
Said and done